quantum element in Honkai Star Rail is going to be getting some really nice additions over in version 1.3, and I think that's really going to change the way quantum is going to be seen in Honkai Star Rail. So, as we've seen from the Twitter reveals over the past few days, in version 1.3, we are going to be getting 2 quantum characters. The first one being Xuan, who is going to be a quantum preservation character. And then they announced, after my initial coverage on Xuan, they announced that we are also getting Lynx, who is a quantum 4-star who is abundant. So we're getting a tank and we're getting a healer in the same version for quantum, which I think is really huge for 2 main reasons that I'm going to go over here. But if you are interested in seeing more of this like informational and analytical type of content for Honkai Star Rail, definitely be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. So if I go into Honkai Star Rail here and take a look at the characters, Quantum is very fairly underrepresented right now, in a similar kind of spot pre 1.1 as Imaginary was, but not as bad of an extent. Like now I think Imaginary and Quantum are on the same level in terms of the characters that are available, because they both have 3 each. But for Quantum right now, we have Silverwolf, we have Seela, and we have Xingque. We have 3 Quantum characters, which, I mean, is definitely, not the most. So again, like very similar situation to Imaginary. But the one main thing about the Quantum characters is just the fact that 2 of them are limited 5 stars, whereas for Imaginary only 1 of them is. Imaginary only has Luocha, who's still out right now, so people can still get him. But the fact that 2 of the Quantum characters are limited 5 stars, and we don't know when they're going to come back, it makes Quantum way less accessible, especially if players are starting right now, or if they're going to start during 1.2. So it definitely is nice that we're going to be getting some more options coming in version 1.3. One of them will be a limited 5-star, which, kind of adds on to that little problem. But also, we are getting a 4-star. So, yeah, Lynx will be a lot more accessible, which I think is going to be great for players who want to use Quantum more. And I think just, increasing the accessibility of Quantum characters, and also, because, Xingque is probably great, if you build her properly, if you have her E4, all that kind of stuff, but she can also be a little inconsistent, which is the one main downside for her. I do want to build her at some point and see how she feels, but in terms of Quantum right now, the game definitely needs more, and also in terms of paths, all we have are the Hunt for Seela, Nihility for Silverwolf, and then Erudition for Xingque. And the addition of Xuan and Lynx is actually filling in 2 really nice roles for Quantum characters and being able to give us some more variety for our teams. Because, as I said previously, Xuan is Preservation, which I believe is it's the path with the lowest amount of characters right now. We have March 7th, Japard, and then the Fire Trailblazer. And then Lynx is going to be part of the Abundance, which has 3 characters now with Luocha, but since Luocha is a 5-star, limited 5-star, Lynx will definitely be more accessible. Probably won't be healing anywhere near the level of Luocha, but will probably have very similar healing to Natasha and Bailu, who have solid healing, but Luocha's just on a whole nother level. But having those 2 as options is also going to be nice, because different teams are going to need different things, especially if you're doing Memory of Chaos. You're going to want to have as much variety on your account and as many runnable units as you can in the long term. Because obviously, you're going to take your time to grind up, because you can't just grind everything up in one day in Star Rail. But in that end game, I'm realizing that it's really important to just have a lot of characters that are, well, not a lot of characters, but a good amount of characters that are usable. So, depending on certain situations, you can switch up your teams accordingly. And that's brought me some good success so far, so I'm just going to keep trying to build up my account, and also be able to cover more characters for you all as well as I have more built up. But, yeah, then the other reason that I want to talk about Quantum is because of the break effect. Now, I remember when I talked about the Imaginary element back in a previous video, I talked about the break effect because for that one it's very unique. Let's see, let's go here, there we go. And yeah, because Imaginary is the only element whose break effect doesn't deal damage. It reduces the enemy's speed and delays their action when their weakness is broken. Quantum is the middle ground between the two. Quantum will will delay the enemy's action, and it will do damage to them as well as part of the break effect with the entanglement status. But what's cool about Quantum is that while most of the other damage break effects are DOT or just deal, like a type of additional ice damage for ice, entanglement it actually works with the action delay, because if you attack the enemy while they're entangled, they'll get more stacks of entanglement, which will increase the amount of damage they take at the end of, when their next turn happens at the end of the entanglement. And that's really good, because if your units have enough speed and you delay their action enough, depending on when you break them, you'll be able to get in 4 or 5 attacks probably. And that's just going to really boost up the entanglement effect, while also just letting you do more damage in general to make the fight go by faster, which I think is going to be really good. So using even Fu Xuan, for example, if you use, obviously we don't know what she does yet, but if you use her to break the enemy's weakness, and then you have your main DPS and your other characters do attacks while we wait for the enemy to come back with the delayed action, then you're going to get a good amount of damage on that entanglement as well, which is going to be so nice. And I've noticed too, even with Silverwolf, whose base damage isn't the craziest unless you build her as a DPS, which mine is not built as a DPS, she's built as a debuffer. Even with that, if I'm able to get enough action delay plus her speed debuff bug, I'm able to get in a good amount of attacks beforehand, before her entanglement ends, and she still takes a good amount of entanglement damage. So being able to have that be more accessible to more players is going to be so helpful, because it's just going to give you more time to get damage in, as well as a nice burst of damage, because normally for DOT damage, it's maybe a few thousand, unless you really have your account built up and stuff like that. But for entanglement, if you get 4 or 5 hits, you're dealing 20 to 30,000 on the entanglement effect once the enemy gets to use their turn again. So being able to do that massive amount of damage is going to be so helpful, and the fact that it's going to be more accessible now with the introduction of Fu Xuan and Lynx in 1.3 is going to be really huge. But yeah, let me know what you all think of the quantum element, how it's going to be shaping up in 1.3. We are also getting the Inhibitor Lunae in 1.3 as well, who is going to be imaginary. So yeah, imaginary and quantum are getting some more characters, which is really nice. They're not getting them in 1.2, because 1.2 we're getting wind and then lightning. But yeah, boosting up quantum and imaginary, it's really going to change the game, because those characters are just going to become more accessible, and people are going to be able to make new team combinations and just be able to use those effects more easily. And I think that'll be a great thing for the game overall, just having more accessibility for all the elements. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed and you haven't already, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff, and I will see you all next time.